guys are so funny. You're trying to get me to do this stupid shit. And
she just whispered, "I'm a bad bitch" for anyone who didn't hear. Stop. 420.
I'm lit at Disney.
And the kids asleep in the bath.
There we go. A ball sack station.
That's what a business owner looks like. Okay. I'm still gonna start the way I wanted to start.
Fine. Oh,
I knew that pub cheese was gonna be bad, but I didn't know how bad. Y'all are fucked up.
okay. So, welcome to Tattoo Homewreckers, a tattoo where we talk about
A tattoo.
a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. If you are watching on YouTube, you will indeed see Caboose behind us. He is cooking Thanksgiving dinner because I won as a fucking person who lives in this day and age.
Period. Because look, the man stays in the kitchen in this
exactly
Without any shoes.
barefoot in the kitchen. So if you hear some random noises, if you are indeed not watching us and you are only listening to us, that's also great. I don't watch
Just
podcasts.
know that Caboose is cooking in the kitchen
Yeah,
right now.
so if you hear random noises, it is either Guinness with her obscenely loud feet, or it is Caboose making Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
We are time traveling in this episode, so we are recording it before we leave. But when this comes out, we will be in Disney, bitch.
The times of our lives. And yes, I promise, and I will quote me on the fucking podcast. We're going to come out with vlogs for every day that we're in Disney. Very excited about it.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yes, it's going to be a fun time. It'll be great. So we're having the time of our lives basically when you're listening to this. So
Yes.
just picture us and picture this. We're in Disney.
We're in
Both
Disney.
Lou, Caboose, and I. We're fucked up.
There's weed,
inebriated.
there's alcohol.
There's
We're
all
having
the
a great
things that your
time.
parents warned you about
Yes.
there. And we are consuming all of the things and having a blast
Yes.
while looking Mickey Mouse in his goddamn fucking mouse eyes.
But not Minnie Mouse, because that bitch kicks dogs.
Yeah, fuck Minnie.
But Animal Kingdom has Chippendale dressed as dinosaurs.
I love Chip and Dale.
I know, me too. And they're dressed as dinosaurs.
Okay, so I might cry. I have a sneaking suspicion that Animal Kingdom might be lit just because of all three of us. So I'm
Oh,
very
yeah.
excited about
And because it's a fucking zoo, and I had no idea. They're like,
Yeah.
they call them trails,
Yeah.
but really you're just walking around a zoo.
I'm literally going to have the time of my life.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I love zoos.
So,
I love Florida. Hot
okay.
take.
You do love Florida. I love how much you love Florida.
I love Florida.
I think about that friend that we had that said that she wanted to move to Florida, and I'm like, you're perfect for Florida, and I really hope that she eventually moves to Florida.
I hope she does too. She was meant for Florida.
Yeah,
would've
she would
loved
be
it.
so happy in Florida.
100%.
Okay, so do you want to go back on your pub cheese rant that
Okay.
you started us on just in the middle of it?
So
And then we'll talk about Gladiator.
Yes, last episode we talked about cheese balls, which is apparently a popular Thanksgiving appetizer. Which
My spicy cheese balls.
spicy cheese balls. I first of all didn't know that Thanksgiving appetizers were a thing. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, can I just interject really fast?
Yes.
We'll get to cheese balls, you guys. I promise.
We'll get to it.
But how do you think that Thanksgiving appetizers aren't a thing?
because I just, for me,
What did your family? You didn't eat anything before Thanksgiving dinner?
no.
You just starved all day?
Well, first of all, my family comes from a place in which they think it's okay to eat before everyone else.
Oh yeah, that is unhinged. They just eat when they want to.
Unhinged
Although,
behavior.
okay, let me be clear. Part of me says that's unhinged, but then when I'm the person with you and we're in a white setting and you start eating before other people,
Oh, girl, it's happened
it is
once. It'll
the
happen again.
coolest boss bitch moment.
I don't give a fuck. All right.
Because
You're telling me that all of this food is here and none of us are eating it? Not on my watch. A full table full of food hates to see me coming because I'm going to start. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how long we've been friends. I don't give a fuck if this is the first time that your family has met me.
which it was.
Which it was. I don't fucking care. I'm starting. Goodbye. End
Yes,
of story.
I love it. But yeah, so okay, no, they definitely I grew up and appetizers are laid out because it was very problematic in the sense that it was incredibly misogynistic. That the
Right.
men were not helping or at most. And
Yes.
actually, I need to also interject on myself really fast.
Please do.
I just told Caboose about this, so I need to like give a shout out to him about this.
Okay.
One of my favorite bragging points about him as a great husband and like, i.e. a great man, is that on holidays, this is actually the first holiday because we're doing it super low key. It's still Thanksgiving for us. For you guys, it's after Thanksgiving. Yes, you'll tell them about that in a second. But that I get this like gloaty part of me that's like, yes, I got a good one. Because when it's a holiday and we're hosting and I have to like send him to the store, I say I have to send him, but really like, I'm like, oh no, I forgot this. And he goes to the store. I like seriously never feel as like egotistical of like, yes, that's right. I got a good man that I'm like, oh babe, I forgot butter.
Oh, what am I gonna do?
And then he's like, oh, let me go pick up butter. Is there anything else? And then he'll look in the fridge and he's like, oh, I think we need more alcohol.
Does
we
a
need more of
scan.
like anything. And
then
it is
personally asks people.
yes. And
Y'all
then
need
he'll
anything?
ask. And it is one of those points where I just get to look around and be like, that's right, ladies. That's what I have.
That's
That's
how
what
you
I'm
do
working
it.
with. My partner is willing to go to the store on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, on any of those days. He will go to the
Yep.
store so that way I can like handle it. And
Yep.
now I'm such a fucking like spoiled thing that it's Thanksgiving. And to be fair, we're all cooking 2 dishes, but I haven't even started mine. He's in there like cooking his. And it's great. So I forgot the original point that I was making.
The original point is we're in Disney right now. Oh, cheese balls.
Oh, yeah. Cheese balls.
So we
dude.
talked about cheese balls being an appetizer.
Oh, no,
you were asking
appetizers.
Me. Yeah.
So,
did you have appetizers? Well, you
yes.
did.
Okay. So then
cheese
that
balls.
was the original point I was making.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that my husband is dope because he'll go to the store on any
Yeah.
day.
How
And
misogynistic. appetizers.
yes. But like we would always have appetizers out because you're in the kitchen, so you need to like snack while
Yeah.
you're like making stuff. So you need to like make like little things for you to be able to like keep your blood sugar up so you can continue cooking all day.
The chef eats the discarded parts of
but also
what's
you
happening.
need to put so you take all the I say ugly, but like all the like not perfect dishes.
Yep.
So you take that for yourself, and then that's what you get to eat to keep your blood sugar up so you can cook all day. But then you have to put out appetizers because otherwise, if you're not eating till like 4, people are going to get hungry. Like that's unrealistic to say that they can't eat.
Totally.
So you put out appetizers for all the people that are like in your house. So that way, as the men are watching the game or watching the parade, I just realized this is the first Thanksgiving I haven't watched the parade.
Oh shit!
I'm
really?
always disappointed by it. So it's best that like I just hung in bed and like had a good time.
I mean, it's always problematic. There's always shit in that parade that I'm like,
But I think it's funny because they
It
are
is
always
very
surprised when a float like goes awry and you're like, it's a float. And
Humans can't control a giant floating object that is only suspended by plastic. Yeah.
So there were always appetizers that were made. Same as like my mom would make a breakfast so that way you had something like solid in the morning.
Yep.
And then there were appetizers throughout the day and that prepared you for dinner.
I'm a big fan of like a grazing table.
Yeah, that's
So,
an appetizer, bitch.
Well, but my grazing table is literally just a cheese board. And you deal with it then. A cheese, fruit, and veg board.
That's a
which is lot.
charcuterie board.
Yeah. Literally a charcuterie board.
Also, don't play it down. That's like a fucking, like, I could eat that as a meal.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things when you make a charcuterie board and then we have a game night.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, y'all aren't ready for this. It's classy. It looks good.
Oh my God. It's gorgeous. It is. So I guess my other tangent on that, I'm just on tangent, you guys, is that I love a charcuterie board that's beautiful and I love to take photographs of it. And everyone that talks shit about like the youths that take photographs of food, that's literally what a still life is.
Brother, food is art. Everything is art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it because like you do a great job of like laying out a charcuterie
Thank
board.
you.
Like, I can make good food. I cannot present food. Like it is very, I'm like, you put it in a bowl and then you eat it.
And then you stuff it
And
down
then
your
you
mouth
make it
and
like
call it
a
day.
full like sensory experience where I get to be like, it's gorgeous. Part of me doesn't want to eat it because it's so beautiful, but then part of me wants to eat it because it's beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's like
I
your way of
appreciate
taking out cute aggression
Yeah.
and being able to actually eat it.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just like, so on the topic of,
Cheese balls.
appetizers, we talk about cheese
Pub
balls.
cheese.
I'm not okay with that. And then pub cheese got into the, conversation because Caboose is like, have you ever had pub cheese? I was like, the fuck is that? I'm about to get real fucking mad. What is pub
Because
cheese?
it's gross. It's literally a naked cheese ball. That's like a naked mole rat.
It's like in a tub too. Communal tub. And I'm like, no, this is a step below Cheese Whiz. Because I like Cheese Whiz because...
You like Cheese Whiz?
Period, I do.
That is the whitest thing you have ever said.
Thank you. And I'll own it. I like Cheese Whiz because at least it's a single serving. It's a controlled
not cheese.
environment. It's a controlled environment. It's on my cracker. I eat it. That's mine. A fucking pub cheese is literally in a communal tub and you just fucking eat the Cheese Whiz out of... No. My pretzels are touching your pretzel. Where has your pretzel been, bitch? Has your pretzel been to Planned Parenthood in the last 60 days?
I'm not a fan of a communal dip. I don't like that.
No.
Personally. That's why I have a hard time with like fondue.
There's a spoon in the dip that
you can put, on
scoop
your
the dip,
own shit.
put it on it. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why, like, I love the idea. I think the only, like, time I could do fondue is if it was, like, you, me, Cole, Rachel, Caboose, and then, like, your future spouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because I'm like, I know all y'all fuckers are clean.
We're good. Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. Like, I'll drink after every one of you.
Yep.
But, like, if you are not in that direct, like, I know that you are safe and you have been tested by Planned Parenthood in the last 60 days.
Really? Like, realistically, in the last, like, 10 days? Like,
yeah. And here's the thing is that, like, I grew up in the wave of, like, mono being a real thing. Like, mono would knock kids out of my school faster than anything.
mono was I got the echoes of that, but it was never, like, full-fledged. Like, I got bus drivers yelling at us for sharing drinks on the bus,
because your generation got, like, the echoes of mono.
Like, echoes.
It's the same way that, like, my generation didn't deal... I'm not saying that mono and polio are the same, to be clear. But, like, polio was already pretty much eradicated by the time...
What were you doing?
During the Black Plague. Were you a part of that? Rats!
We're looking at you, Remy.
Oh, no, not Remy. I'm so excited to ride on Remy's ride next week. Bitch, I'm trying to ride rides multiple times.
Me too.
I've already pre-purchased our like lightning lane passes for Tron, but I'm trying to see if Caboose, because once again, I am the planner, he is the executor, and I am very happy in that part of our relationship.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I will gladly plan because I can think 17 steps ahead, and he is so good when I said, I can't cook the macaroni, and then he's fucking profound for being, I was like, this macaroni's overcooked, and he's like, we can just cook it again.
Yeah.
Like, we can just make another box. Because this man came home with 4 boxes and literally cooked 1 box.
So proud of him. Yeah. He was ready.
Like, his ability to adjust to my neurospiciness is phenomenal.
He was like, valid, chef.
I've watched all the videos to be like, okay, so we need to be on our phones at 7 a.m. to see if we can get into the virtual queue, because I'm trying to ride the, like, Tron ride twice, and I'm trying to ride the, and if it means that I have to pay $20 to, like, buy another pass, I absolutely will. But, like, I'm trying to ride rides multiple times.
Period.
And I forgot the original point that I was making.
I don't know either.
Because also Caboose made my bevy, and I am so lit.
Brother,
this
I am
is the
toasted.
Best Thanksgiving I've had.
I'm so... the
only thing that would make it better is if our friends were here.
Yeah, if Rachel and Cole were here.
Yes.
It would make it better.
And Ian.
I know.
I love Ian.
We have to record a podcast with him. And be annoying about medical questions. I'm personally very excited about that.
He doesn't know this yet. We're going to send him a message and ask him if he can be on our podcast.
Yes.
So that way we can just... Basically, we're going to ask him medical questions and then decide whether or not we agree or disagree based on our feelings. Because
really unscientific, so that's wrong.
Yeah, so like...
so I don't like that, so that's wrong.
I recently had a physical and got slightly shamed because obviously if you've been around for a while, you know that I am indeed dealing with the throes of perimenopause, which, to be clear, I don't understand the difference between menopause and perimenopause, because I feel like when you say perimenopause, it like makes it less serious, but I am currently dealing with like hot flashes and brain fog.
I saw a reel that was like, that's some bullshit. It's all the same.
Yes.
Like, it's actually like they're the same thing.
Yes.
It's just to like lighten the fucking news that
and
you're
it's
in
not
menopause.
and it's not light. Like, your boy is going through it. Like,
boy.
the fact that like I cannot recall information that I could have recalled so easily. Like, when they talk about brain fog, it's fuck, dude. And like, I genuinely feel temperament wise the same way I felt as a teenager, where I'm like, why am I suddenly having urge of anger?
You're just chomping on people.
Yes, like
chomping.
and it is that
Yeah.
same way that like you explained, like with my whole sight thing, where I'm like, no, I've noticed like, okay, I'm aware that y'all are gonna be laughing at this, if you're the type of person, because I understand how silly this sounds, because I want to laugh at this. But like, when I like hold stuff super close to my face, there's about a 1/2 inch difference of like where it was fuzzy before versus where it's fuzzy now.
In which I said, honestly, that's impressive that you notice, but lots of people do not notice.
And that's
Like, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's
but,
a
like,
huge difference.
people
And
don't
you were
notice
like,
that.
hey, that is a big deal. And I had mentioned to the lady, like when I was getting my exam for New Zealand, that I was like, that bottom line is not as clear as it used to be.
I'm honestly so impressed that you could even see the bottom line in the first place.
But when you come from a place where you've always been able to see the bottom line, and now the bottom line's kind of fuzzy.
I'm gonna be so honest on the podcast right now, and some of you all are gonna be so concerned because you've gotten tattooed by me before. Your girl is always guessing on the bottom line. I am always guessing,
Which is fine,
I am
because A,
always
you
hoping
have
for the
glasses,
best.
and B, you wear contacts.
Yes.
But A, I can't touch my eyeball. The idea of touching my eyeball is like you thinking about your insides.
I'm
Like,
so good
I'm
at
gonna
it.
vomit.
Oh, bro,
You want me to touch it? No!
I can pluck anything out. I can touch it at any point in time.
No.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'm grossed out when I have to like, if I have to like
Do the
get something. No.
I can literally like do
No.
that and then unfold. Yeah, it's
No.
crazy. I can.
So the idea, and like the
I love me an
issue-
eyeball,
You love you an eyeball, just not a uterus.
just not a ball.
Just not a ball. I love me a ball. I love a good ball. Not a cheese ball unless it's covered in nuts.
We like a ball. We like nuts.
We do love nuts. That's the part of me that's incredibly
Okay, which
straight.
nut is your favorite though?
So, the right one.
I was thinking like cashew, but yeah, okay, that's fine too. Because that's the one that you shake with. You shake with your right, with your right hand to right nut, and you shake. And
Oh, wait, what's your favorite type of nut? You said which one is your favorite, and I thought you meant right or left. I'm like, the right one.
love cashews. That's it. That's all I have.
My brain says walnut,
No,
but
walnuts
I
are good.
only like one walnut.
Candied walnuts are great.
Oh yeah, dude, Candy's nuts are amazing.
Who?
Like candied nuts, like
Candy's nut. That's what I heard. I said.
that's what I said.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're losing it over here.
Literally.
This is what it looks like when you are over tattooed, overworked, and you're moving internationally.
Period.
Fuck, I forgot what we were talking about before we went on a
This
weird
is an
nut
after
tangent.
hours episode for sure. Because
Um,
you and I are just like popping off. We're at this
You're
point.
popping off. I'm very serious right now. I'm
We're talking about perimenopause and menopause.
Oh yeah, basically it
nuts.
sucks.
It just sucks.
That's
ass.
it. It
It's
sucks. You're basically. I feel like we should describe it properly, which is that this is like, oh my god, what the fuck is the word?
Huh.
See, okay, that's it right there. That is like, yeah, that
menopause.
is menopause for you. Is that you cannot recall the word? It's what is it that teenagers go through?
Puberty.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my fucking
I got
god.
you. That took
So
me a minute.
so as someone who identifies as being intelligent, who spends a lot of time learning.
You are very intelligent, by the way. You don't have to identify as it. I will just.
But
tell
that's
you.
the thing, is that like I identify as being intelligent, and then all of a sudden words do not come, and like it
That's not a
makes
marker for intelligence, though.
Like it, but it's like scary.
It is scary, yeah. That
because
is
it makes me
frightening.
be like, oh my god, my eyesight all of a sudden is like,
That would be like me not knowing how to splice a clip. I would be scared.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Where
that
I'm
is
like,
terrifying.
I know what fucking puberty is, but I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what's that word? What's that
I know
word?
how to edit a video.
And like, at no point can you recall that word. So then there's a part of you that goes, oh my God, am I losing my mind? Like, what is happening? Because like, you no longer have the ability to retrieve stuff, which is the shitty part where I'm like, why are we calling it perimenopause to like make it not a big deal? Where it's like, but it is a big deal. Like, it affects every aspect of my life to be like, I can't recall information that like literally 6 months ago I could recall.
Hot take, everything that has to do with women's health is a hoax. Like, y'all have not done enough research, and you guys are just, at this point, just covering for your asses. No, let's just be honest and say, yeah, we just started this.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2025. Technically, it's 2024. And we just now started doing this. And we just now are starting to be able to start collecting data, not even have data. We're just now collecting data on this. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. If you were just honest to friend, then we wouldn't.
But on that note, I need to ask you about Gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just watched Gladiator for the first time.
I did, yes.
And for anyone who's watched Gladiator, I need to know, because I'm pretty sure I'm hoping that everyone feels the exact same way I feel, which is that when you see a wheat field, all you want to do is walk through it and touch it with your hand. I'm hopefully going to see Gladiator tonight. Thank God for Uber, because I can't drive.
Oh, period. And it'll be the best Uber that you spend on, truly.
But I like, this is terrible that when Caboose and I were on the train from Gaeta and even like when we went back and we went to like Rome and we were taking the train in Italy and I saw those like fields, all I ever thought about was like, I need to stop the train. Like, can I possibly pull an emergency stop and be like, give me 5, motherfucker? So I could just walk through and have that moment in a wheat field, because it doesn't happen here in the States.
No.
Like, if I'm driving along and I see a wheat field, I'm not like, I need to stop the car and touch
because,
American wheat.
Yeah.
But it's the need to, and it's purely because
a
of
bad
Gladiator.
Drive too. It's like a shitty drive. You're like, I'm not trying
when
to
you're
do
in
this.
the middle fields, like, it's not great.
No, you're like over it.
So do you have the urge, now that you have seen the most pro-wheat movie, to walk through a field and touch it?
Absolutely. I want to feel the breeze on my balls. I want to do this.
Okay. Wait, what?
I just know that his loins are like well ventilated.
You say that, but he's in Italy, which means his balls are genuinely like, it's hot, it is humid, it is the Mediterranean. So his balls are just like, on his fucking thighs. As he's walking, it is like purely like one ball stuck.
Not the slapping of the cheek
to
like the real life
That's
sound.
what, if I was a ball, I'd be like,
that's the real life sound that his balls are making.
Yes. Like, you know that Russell Crowe's testicles are stuck to the side of his thigh.
So when you look at the movie, though, you don't.
That's what you're going to think now. The next time you see him walking in his Gladiator, when he is on the battlefield, when we are all watching Gladiator tonight, know that, I watched the behind the scenes of these movies, and he was talking about how hot it was in, like, I don't remember the dude's name, the new actor for it. He's adorable. He's in Normal People.
He is adorable.
He's amazing.
I forgot his name.
Normal People is an amazing show.
Totally
FYI, if you haven't watched it.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
He talks about how hot it is in these, like, in the leather, doing the scenes.
Yeah.
So you know the entire time.
It's just like
ball sack stuck to thigh.
Slapping. And like the like, think of the chafing, that happens.
I don't know the balls chafe.
Do balls chafe? Let us know in the comments.
Thighs chafe. But, like,
balls,
I'll have to ask Caboose, because Caboose has never talked about his balls chafing. He's talking about his thighs chafing. Because if you've got, like, decent size, like, thighs.
It's because it's a different kind of skin if it doesn't.
I think it's because it just sticks to it. So it just, like, moves. It's like your cheek. Put your cheek on your hand. See how it, like, sticks?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's very sticky. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's worse, but I don't know. When you're watching the movie, you don't think about how hot.
You're going to think about that now.
Well, now
you're going to watch those battle scenes and be like, there's just a ball, like, stuck up there next to a thigh.
No, literally. Well, I will say, great movie. What I did not enjoy was the scraping of the tattoo. Fuck that. Disgusting. And also, like,
Why?
they really did a good job. Because they did a good job in showing you how sweaty and hot and dirty everyone was. And I'm like, no wonder people only lived to like 30.
I
God.
forget that you've only lived in
Nasty.
dry climates, that you don't have a true experience
Of the
of just
wetness.
being wet all the
No.
time.
And this is what concerns me. I'm already a sweaty person. I'm very
Oh,
concerned
no.
about being in the humid climate. Because, you know, your girl's
You're just
already
going to
wet.
be like, like you're-
Perma wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like,
Wait. Okay, I'm not a skin scientist. I think there's an actual name for that, but I can't recall it right now.
Dermatologist?
There you go. I like skin scientists
I don't know
better.
if they would fit under the category that you're talking about. But
I feel like they know everything about skin. They should if you're like a skin scientist. But I like the
I don't
sound of
know.
that better.
Dr.
So,
Sarah kind of dumb.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I am not a skin scientist,
Uh-huh.
but I wonder if you would, because maybe
Yeah.
your body is producing. I know there's somebody out there that's smarter than me that's like, that's not how this works.
That has
But this is
researched
my
this.
theory.
Yeah.
And it's a fun theory,
Tell
and
us.
it's just a silly theory, that if the outside air is more damp than you, maybe you don't need to produce as much sweat to cool yourself down.
Fingers crossed.
I mean,
That
I'm
would
pretty
be
sure you're
beautiful.
going to die with clammy hands. So, like, your hands
Yeah.
will be wet for the rest
They're
of your
always
life.
permanently just.
Yeah, because you're a puppy. I know. Be glad you're not a boy with, like, sweaty balls all the time.
I'm so glad I was not born in a male body. God, that would
I'm
be
not.
terrible. Oh,
I would love it.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be a tyrant. I'd hit everyone with my dick.
Oh my God, that's
It'd be
assault.
fun. That's not fair. It's funny.
For you, not for anybody else on the other end.
You say that, but I think it'd be funny.
Well, I will say, like,
I would have joined the Navy, so it's completely acceptable.
yeah, for sure. I was gonna say the only thing I miss out about, like, if like the only way I would like want to be a dude is experiencing the fact that they get so gay with each other.
Yeah.
They'll like hump each other's legs and it'll be a whole bit and it'd be funny, you know? Or like they'll show each other, they'll flash each other their balls. What the fuck is
it's
wrong with
funny.
you? It's funny.
But then the weird part is like,
It's really
so Caboose and I were watching a show. I think it's called Sweet Pea.
yeah.
But like two women were dancing together.
Okay.
And then they started snogging, and
Uh-huh.
the
Making out.
and then it's an English show, so snogging is the correct term.
Right.
Because
Snog sounds like a booger. I don't know why. I just can't.
you're thinking of snot.
Yeah. I
No,
think
it's
so.
snogging.
Snogging sounds like you're
It's an
exchanging
O.
boogers.
G.
Exchanging boogers. It sounds
I
like
mean,
that.
you're exchanging mouth boogers when you kiss someone anyway.
Okay, I don't want to talk about mouth boogers. But anyways.
You're
they're-
weird about germs, but you French kiss people?
Yeah. hmm
You're not
Very
weird about those
hypocritical.
germs?
I think when you hit a level of horny, you don't care.
Oh, no. That's, okay, I'm going to interject for neurospicy individuals.
Please do. Yes.
That's one of the worst parts about being like neurospicy, I believe, is that like that part of you never like
That's
truly turns off.
on?
Yes.
Ooh.
So you have to, at least for me personally, I have to actively like work on like,
Desensitizing yourself?
yes, like turning that part off where
Wow.
you're like, your bits are touching my bits and your germs are touching my germs and your mouth is on my, and it's, then there's germs and I don't like it. And like,
Wow. That is, wow.
Yeah.
That is tough. That is
Yeah.
really hard.
well, it's why, okay, this is a weird segue, but it's why I ask people like, are you a hugger?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't like that assumption that people want to hug me, not for the emotional labor of that,
Yeah.
but for the fact that like, if I'm having a really bad, like, oversensory day, I can't ignore the fact, like, poor Caboose went to, like, just kiss me, like, a regular good morning kiss this morning. And it felt, like, gross to me
Yep.
because I'm already oversensitized. And then I'm thinking about all the, like, fucking thousands and like tens of thousands and like I don't know how many germs there are and I really don't want to know. So if you know, please don't share with me. But like I was thinking about like all of his like cooties touching me and invading my space. And I was like struggling. And as someone who's in a relationship with someone who is not that level of neurospicy, which I'm glad for because it's a hard thing to like live with, that he went to kiss me and then I like naturally, like instinctually bristled and then had to be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for that. And that's that part of like, that makes like intimacy really hard.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're like consciously aware that you're like, when was the last time you brushed your teeth?
Mm-hmm. Or like,
And even if you brush your teeth, like,
I can
you still
like,
have germs.
Yeah.
Or like you're
Just
breathing
existing.
on me so I can feel your breath on me. And I know that there's like cooties in there.
That's really hard.
Yeah, it's gross.
Gosh, that's the one beautiful thing I will say about like hormones. I'm just so blind to that. But then maybe that's why like exiting the puppy dog stage is so hard for me because it's a hard exit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause-
I just like yeet myself into that freeway
Yes.
exit. And then I'm like, God, you're so intolerable.
Yes.
Which is so mean.
No, it's not mean. That's genuinely how like the brain works.
But like genuinely, I can't turn it off at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just like, here's the thing. Foreplay was once a 2-second thing for me, and now it's a whole day thing. Now
Yes.
I need the whole day of foreplay.
I saw an
From the
amazing...
moment you wake up, how you treat me
Mhm.
is foreplay. From that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw an amazing quote and that we're talking about that where she was like, my favorite thing is people knowing that foreplay is an entire day conversation. It's how
Absolutely.
you treat me the entire day. And I like
Yes.
love that because like
Yes.
that's genuinely it where it's like, okay, so like on days where I'm really like struggling with like, it's a weird thing to say out loud, but basically I'm struggling with like my human existence. Like I'm like struggling with the fact that like these are the cells that make up my existence.
Well, yeah, like living in your vessel is
Yeah.
extra hard because it's like
When your vessel feels like weird.
your soul's so big that like your
Did
vessel.
you say the big soul?
Yes.
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Big dick energy is what they truly
Big
mean.
soul energy.
Yeah, your soul's so big that like fitting into this tiny vessel is so overwhelming because you're feeling like you're expanding. You're feeling
Mhm.
all of the things. You're hearing electricity. You're feeling the lights. Every cell that like is being exposed to these lights right now, you can feel, you know,
Yes.
like it's just too much. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I view it. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's I didn't even think to put it in the like once again.
Mhm.
Once again, you come in and you
my,
take that experience.
my therapist said that I should start like running a business as like figuring out what bumper stickers because I'm so good at taking these large concepts.
You are
and turning them into tiny.
But do you know how intelligent you have to be to take something that is so complex
I appreciate that.
and then understand it to a level in which you can create the thesis for it?
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
I was not thinking of it as an intelligence thing at all. I'm like, yeah, I can spark notes after you.
No,
I got
it's
you.
Like I feel like when you say spark notes, you're like cheapening. Like,
yeah.
that experience of the fact that
That's how I
like,
feel too. I'm trying to like diminish it.
Yeah,
I'm
where it's like,
I
no,
don't-
you're literally a translator for people with these like massively complex ideas.
Mhm.
And then you translate them in a way where I'm like, yes, that's it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh, sorry, I poked you.
That's okay.
Like, that's it. Like, I don't know. We don't really touch.
It didn't bother me, I promise.
But like that, like you take this like big feeling I have
Mhm.
that I can't explain. And then you
Mhm.
put it into these like terms where I'm like, that's
Yeah.
it. Like,
You're
that's
just-
it.
Yeah, your soul's so big, it's having a hard time
Mhm.
fitting in this tiny vessel.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard because then you are experiencing it as the big soul that you are.
Yeah.
And like, oh God, I can't imagine. When I said that thing about like the light hitting your skin, like
Mhm.
all of the cells that this, like our lights are hitting right now, you can
Mhm.
feel it. I can feel it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, to feel that all the time. It
It's-
must be
it's
so hard.
pretty awful.
Yeah.
I think that's I realized the other day it was last night. I was watching a video on like lighting and in like interior design.
Yeah.
And I realized that like watching that video, she was talking about like how blue lights are used for like medical settings and they're used in like interiors in which we like sterilize
Yep.
things. And then Caboose and I were watching once again that Sweet Pea show. And they use like a blue light, and like typically blue lights inside of homes like read as like very cheap is like what this interior designer said. And I was thinking about the fact that like I use really warm lights, and she was saying how that affects your mood. And as someone that is neurodivergent, I'm very like susceptible to lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can't handle like a lot of like blue lights like become really overwhelming because I can always feel them.
Yep.
And you try your best to like dull it down, but it's that case of like it feels like, for me personally, it feels like static on my body at all times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I think is also why like I always need like noise and like podcasts, and like I have to entertain my brain constantly to like get it to like not think about like the physical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also like one of those reasons why like I struggle up here, like in Reno, where like the air is so thin, you can feel so much more like stuff in it.
Yeah, things like, yeah, I know,
like
right?
I can feel like the dirt, and I can feel the light in a different way that like when the air
it's like
is
sterile. Yeah.
Yeah, like when the air is like closer to the ocean
Mm-hmm.
and it's like slightly heavier, and you can like feel, and for people that can't feel that, like how you can smell the ocean, like that sort of like heavier air that like smells like sea salt, it feels like a slightly more comforting blanket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where it's like, okay, it's more natural almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had this theory for like ever where I'm like, yeah, the desert is like definitely like unnatural in the sense that human beings weren't supposed to live
Yeah.
here. It's like everything here is fighting for survival. And although there's been generations and generations and generations of sagebrush living here, that doesn't mean that each generation hasn't fought tooth and nail to fucking survive.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about like the desert.
Yeah.
Everything here has fought tooth and fucking nail to survive. And any slight difference will mean the death of it. That's why cacti are actually really hard to keep in your house.
Oh.
Any slight difference is it's fucking it up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my theory, but
That's a great theory.
thank you. I appreciate that.
We got very deep. Okay, so in their world, we are currently at Disney. I'm gonna pivot, a hard pivot here.
Okay, hard pivot. Let's go.
Because my heart is feeling heavy with this conversation. I'm feeling seen, which I love,
Yeah, but it is
but it's
heavier
heavy.
than we intended. Yes.
Yes. So what ride do you think you're most excited for?
Oh, Ratatouille, of course.
Yeah?
Of course. I love Ratatouille. That ride is so good.
Why?
Because you are the rat.
Do you recognize as a rat?
I think I do. I love rats. And I also love like the premise of the movie. And you guys already know, if you've been listening for a while now, I love cooking. And like the
You're
idea.
such a good cook.
Thank you so much. When Gustav says anybody can cook, it's fucking true. And
Yes.
it's so real. And it's just like an art form that is, I'm going to say, like, not as respected, you know? Because even like your best McDonald's meal was crafted by someone who actually gave a fuck.
Yes.
Who gave a fuck about cooking, who gave a fuck about the temperature of the oil when your fries went in, who gave a fuck. And even if you spent $2 on that meal, they gave a fuck.
Yes.
Because you were paying for an experience and you were paying for nutrition and sustenance. And even though McDonald's has no nutrition or sustenance, it was still an experience.
It's still calories that equal energy, baby.
It's still, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, you'll remember that. That's like the nostalgia of it, of like, damn, like whoever fucking put out these fries meant business.
Well, I mean,
you know?
I think like with you saying that makes me think about like chicken nuggets. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a distinct, like if you've had like chicken nuggets as a kid, like, you know, like here it is, like I'm about to be 38 and I'm like, chicken nuggets. Like, I know what that feels like. McDonald's chicken nuggets specifically, like I know what that feels like the outside, the crispiness, the like, in all honesty, a bit weird texture on the inside.
Weird, like spongy.
Yes, spongy is the
What the
correct thing.
fuck is this?
But I think that's like the great part about you with like cooking is like, it's like the way for me that it feels about the way you can describe like food and texture is that it feels like the missing pieces that like I can see like when it comes to color.
Oh, yeah. And
When we talk about color and I'm like,
Yes.
but I can see all these like shades and then trying to explain to other people.
Damn, that is so impressive.
And that's you with like
Yeah.
food.
Mhm.
And then you come in and fill in those parts where I'm like, you're right. Like we talked about last episode, like I don't resonate with like pumpkin pie, like has like an interesting, specifically my mom's pumpkin pie because she added a lot of spice to it. And I think she added some like secret spices. I don't know. Not like drug spices, but like spices.
I would love to attempt a pumpkin pie just because of that.
You should. You know what we have to do in New Zealand though, because that's one of those favorite things I look forward to is throwing in random shit and being like,
you are winning Thanksgiving.
Yes. You're a Thanksgiving winner. And so like it is that like the flavor profile is one thing, but the texture is another. And like the way that you talk about texture with food has allowed me to be like, oh my God, like the texture of this is like it's so important. And that's how I feel about like colors, like in tattoos.
Yeah.
It's like, but that one shade difference between like lavender and mauve is like the difference of like whether or not that piece is like cool or warm, and it changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like I've loved like getting to know food through like your vision of food. Because like I would have never, even like just then, I would have never thought that like McDonald's was originally crafted by someone who like loves that.
Who gave a fuck.
Yeah, who gave a fuck. And like that to me is that thing that's like so distinctly beautiful and different about the entire experience.
Yeah.
And like it's something that we do every single day just for survival, but it's also something that we get to experience.
Oh yeah, that's a human condition, right? Which I think is why it's undervalued and underappreciated, is the fact that like we're gonna do it regardless.
Yes.
But the people who like give a fuck are the difference between a good meal and a bad meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's that thing like we've talked about that is like, but I can tell the difference between like you make this with love or like you just made this because it's your job.
Oh, 100%. Y'all slap
like,
this together.
Yeah, and that's that thing, like, when you're, like, playing with food, when you go through those phases, when you're really like, I'm going to play with this, and you're like, no, I don't love this. I'm like, bitch, this is delicious.
Yeah.
Because you can feel the, like, intention and love behind it, even if it's not as refined as you think it should be.
Yeah. It's like art, you know?
Yes.
It's the same thing as like, you know, when we do art and we're like, no, but it could be this and this. And like the person who's experiencing the first time is like, what are you talking about? This is awesome.
Yes.
This is so cool. Like, this is like, I've never seen anything like this. And you're like, no, but it could be this. And that person's like, I don't give a fuck what it could be. This is cool.
Yeah.
And I like it.
And I think about that, like, that's such a beautiful way to think about it. Because I think about, like, the past, like, experiences when Caboose and I talk, like, when we went to Florida, because she loves Florida.
I love Florida.
We talked about the different restaurants that we, like, loved was, like, interesting because, like, once again, it was those, like, unique aspects of, like, combining ingredients that you wouldn't think about. Like, we used to talk about M Shack.
Yeah.
But then when we went, it was closed. And so, like, it's, like, interesting to be like, yeah, it was these people that, like, loved what they did to create this thing that truly was, like, phenomenal. Oh, my God. I just realized that that's the same thing that, like, clients feel with us.
Yeah. As awkward as that is. Totally.
That's weird and adorable.
It is so adorable. And now I get it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That hit me, too. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, so sweet. If you've ever gotten tattooed by us, thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Well,
so on that note, what was your win for the week? I just made myself sad.
so sad. My win for the week is making my bed because I don't know why. It just requires so much energy and I hate doing it. And I did it and now it's done.
Because it does require a lot of energy.
So much. It's just so much. And I just like, I have to take breaks in between of making my bed. Hate it.
It's a lot.
How about you?
My win for the week is, I think recording this podcast. I know I say that all the time, but like, it feels so good to like connect with other people. And like I said, like last episode, like I get messages of people responding to what we say. And that's something that like, when we originally set out to do this podcast, obviously we started out as like a way to talk about tattoos.
Yeah. And
But
then it evolved into just us having a shared
yeah,
diary.
us just having like a diary of what was going on with our life, and like me coming out as being non-binary, and like
oh my God, it
us
seems
talking
so much.
Yeah. And I think that like having the commitment, like it's Thanksgiving and we are recording a podcast. So that way we have something out, for tonight, Thanksgiving, thanks to Caboose
you.
for putting it out tonight. And also like to have something while you guys, like while we're at Disney, so you guys still have something. But building that community is something that like has been truly amazing for me. So like, that's like my win for the week is kind of sitting in that place of like each week that Caboose uploads, he talks about like the additional like amount of likes that we've gotten and the amount of like people that have started following, and to like think that like the same way that the podcasts that I listen matter to me.
Yeah.
That like possibly like, I don't know why I'm like downplaying it, probably because I should work on that.
Okay.
But the fact that like this matters to other people.
Yeah. And it's beautiful.
And
We
that's
get
a
to
really vulnerable
contribute.
space.
Yeah, it's so vulnerable. Ooh.
Yeah.
It feels like
I
more
mean-
vulnerable than tattooing. Like I
Yeah.
just like, ooh,
I agree. I feel like this is more vulnerable than tattooing, because tattooing is like a service I'm providing that I know I'm like good at.
for sure. Yeah. And then this, I'm like, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
just
like,
going on about
Yeah.
whatever topic we decide to do. And you guys choose to listen. So
Yeah.
thank you. Time is the
So-
only like non-renewable resource. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. So
Mhm.
with that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, after we come back from Disney, we will record an episode that will probably be about Disney, because that weird noise you hear in the background is Guinness begging for dinner.
No, she's being
Um,
crazy. God.
You say she's being crazy, but she just loves food. And if you can make your own dog food, I highly recommend it. It is worth it. We have a 13-year-old dog who does not act like she is 13.
God, she's a psycho.
And
Absolute psychopath.
you just need to invest in an enchilada pot, or for white people,
I don't know.
a really big pot.
It's like
Yeah.
way big.
Um,
It's very large.
yeah, just invest in that.
What do white
Throw
people cook in that?
stew?
Maybe a restaurant pot? I don't know.
Babe, what do white people cook in that pot?
Borscht.
The fuck is borscht? I swear to God. If it's another pub cheese thing, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. Okay, you know what? Actually,
So, yeah,
never mind.
Get a giant pot. Cook a bunch of meat. Cook a bunch of vegetables. Please look at to make sure they're safe for your dog.
Yeah.
And cooking your own dog food does seem expensive. This is a weird like plug. Does seem expensive. I promise it's not. Have a base that involves rice and quinoa.
Oh, and your dogs will thank
And,
you for
yeah,
it. And you'll have
like-
them for so much
And
longer.
then if you are neurospicy like myself, when she started showing symptoms of arthritis, I was able to like make adjustments in her diet for that.
Yep.
Just like I will harass my client / friends that are into like ophthalmology about what's going on with my eyeballs, whether or not they're just fatigued from looking at my phone too much, or whether or not I'm getting old. But you can like adjust their diets to make sure that their arthritis doesn't affect them as much. And yeah, so like that's it. Like do the thing to take care of you and your people and your
Do the thing.
pets, because they're your people.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Once more. I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do appreciate you.
But now I need to make gyoza and make meatballs because it's that time. So I'll see you guys later.
So, belated happy Thanksgiving. We're at Disney right now. So if you're listening to this on Monday when it first dropped, know that we are having the best time of our life.
Yes.
I am probably crossfaded as fuck on shrooms, edibles, and alcohol, and having the best experience while I don't worry about my like physical body, and I am indeed just on the Troy ride,
Period.
living my best light life.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you back next week where we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Bye!
Bye.